So they arrested me.
So you took off your ski mask and said, I'm not the guy.
Hey guys, this is Colin from Blackjack Apprenticeship, and this is really special for me because I'm joined with two of my card counting buddies. This is Dusty Pinkchip and David, aka Loudon Often, and I've played on teams with these guys for years, and they're the only card counters I know that are willing to show their faces on the internet. But they joined me, and we're going to be doing an actual series of videos on card counting where we're going to share stories and talk about some of the things that we know. So, I just want to start off by asking, how did each of you get into card counting? We'll start with Pinkchip.
Actually, my mom caught me playing poker in the basement with some buddies, and it made her really nervous. So I invited her to play with us and taught her how to gamble. Then they built a casino in my hometown, and she started playing blackjack. Of course, I wasn't old enough. So she started reading books on card counting. I was like, all right, I taught you how to play poker. You got to teach me how to play blackjack.
Uh-huh.
So she did. She taught me basic strategy, which I largely ignored, as you can attest to. Yeah, but I mean, that's how I learned the process of counting and deck estimation.
And as the story went, you played for the church team for 5-6 years.
Yep.
Won several $100,000. Had some great stories.
Yep.
Great memories. And so, Loudon, how did you get into card counting?
I was at a desk job and was probably bored and was reading things about, I don't know what, casinos. You could beat the game of blackjack. I read it online somewhere. And so I left work early and went and tried it out at one of the casinos nearby. I liked the idea. I thought this is the kind of thing I would like to do. And unfortunately, I won the first 19 sessions that I played. So I thought I'd solved it. It worked out. It was great.
Easy money.
Easy money. Of course, I was, betting at the lowest stakes possible. I'm sure I wasn't doing anything right. But I did win. And so I was able the next Sunday to go to church and pay a friend back who I owed like $100 to. But I was able to pay him with a $100 bill, which always begs the story, like, why are you paying me in a $100 bill? It's like, oh, I'm glad you asked. I've been beating the game of blackjack. And he's like, oh, well, you must know Ben in my Bible study. I'm like, who's this Ben? What has he ever done? And he's like, he's buying a house by card counting. And so, of course, I was nothing again. But I needed to meet the Ben character. So that's when I met Ben, who was part of the church team. Another year went by before the church team actually started, and I had to basically destroy whatever I had learned and start from the ashes and build it all over again.
So for you guys that don't know, Loudon Often he was the winningest player on the church team, most hours, most profits, highest dollar per hour. And Dusty, you're close up there, maybe second, third. So we got a couple $1 million of profits between the three of us at this table. So good job, guys.
Yay.
You too?
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So I thought it would be fun to just talk a little bit about, so you guys trained, whatever. We got lots of videos on that. You guys tested out, which I'm sure was fun, stressful, all the above. And you guys played. Like, you guys seriously played. Lots of hours. But, that's all just data. Let's talk about some of the stories. So I just thought I'd like to hear from each of you one or two of your favorite stories from your playing days.
All right. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's definitely a story.
The most notorious, at least among our team, of your stories.
Yeah. The story, I guess, kind of, there's a lead up to it, which is that I had a great trip at one of those middle of nowhere casinos, which was like a lifesaver for this trip that was just a total bust. And I won a bunch of money for the team while I was getting in a ton of hours, which was.
So what was a bunch of money?
When I asked to get a jackpot winner jacket, I was up And they told me no. And I was like, but I've won a lot of money. And they were like, how much money? And I was like, well, I'm not done yet, but right now I'm up over $100,000. And they were like, I'll be right back. So I have a jackpot winner jacket that they only give to slot winners. But
you were the exception, or were you a slot
I was
winner?
the exception. I was the exception. So I think by the time I left, I had like 90.
Okay.
So I go on another trip in another state. And,
across the country, basically.
Yeah, completely across. This is in the Midwest. That one was in California. And I'm playing. Everything seems totally normal. And I get the tap on the shoulder, and I'm like, dang it. This is it. I'm getting backed off. And the guy was like, hey, would you come with me, please? And I was like, oh, I'm getting back roomed. Okay, even better. Should I bring my chips? And he's like, yeah, grab all your stuff there. I'm like, okay. So I take the stuff, and he leads me to an escalator, and we're not saying anything, and it's awkward. So I'm like, so did I win like a jackpot or something? And he's like, no. And he kind of chuckled. And then he led me to like not the elevator, but like the freight elevator.
Ooh.
And so I'm like, okay, back room. Yeah, everything still works. Everything still jives with like my previous experiences of getting back roomed. So go into the elevator, and there are 2 security guards in there. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? They're like, fine. And the doors to the elevator close, and I look at them more closely, and they're not security guards, they're police officers. So I'm like, well, this is like my first hint that something is amiss. And we get to the back room area, and they're, I guess like the casino manager, somebody was like, do you know why you're down here? And I said, maybe. I think that's the most honest answer in that situation. Maybe. And it turned out to be, had I said yes, I would have been wrong. Because they're like, well, you're under arrest for stolen property. And I'm like, what? That's weird. I didn't steal anything. And it turned out there had been a rash of bank robberies in the area. So the police had told the casino staff to watch for marked bills. And they were looking for marked 20s. Of course, I was carrying hundreds. But they're like, those are marked bills. So they arrested me.
So you took off your ski mask and said, I'm not the guy.
Yeah, straight up.
What do you mean they were marked bills?
They were marked. The bills that I had won from this previous trip turned out...
From a separate state.
Completely different state. They're not 20s like they're looking for in the Midwest.
But you still had...
But I had all these marked bills, this ridiculous number. And when I finally got my stuff out of evidence after they... what do they call the opposite of booking you in the jail?
Processed? Or
after they let me go.
I don't know. I haven't been arrested before.
Are you a real card counter?
Dispersed? Excused?
I was going to say discharged, but that's the hospital.
I'll say discharged from
sure, discharged.
jail.
Crapped out.
So were you there all night?
Yeah. And I quit playing blackjack. I was there for 14 hours. They never read me my rights. Actually, until the next morning when they were questioning me. And they wanted to hang on to the money until the FBI opened so that they could... And then they sent them pictures. They meticulously photographed all the bills, all the serial numbers, sent them to the FBI, and the FBI's like, that's not what we're looking for.
Let him go?
Let him go.
Oh my God.
So they let me go, and I had, had some serious, time to think about
what you were doing with your
what I
life.
was doing with
What were
my
the
life.
sleeping arrangements like?
Not sleeping. That's what they were like. That's how it went.
So you quit?
Completely quit, and then I got the money back, and it turns out when I got out of jail, I still had rent to pay.
Yeah.
And I was still on a blackjack trip. And there were still casinos in other states. So I drove 1 state away.
And you came out of retirement.
And I came out of retirement. Yeah.
Is that the shortest? That's probably the shortest retirement we had on the church team.
It might have been. As soon as I could get into another casino, I did it.
And did you find out why they were marked from California?
I can only assume that someone successfully laundered money in that casino.
Yeah.
Because looking back over it, and this is in talking to the detective, he's like, didn't that seem like a lot of marked bills? And I'm like, dude, you see as many $100 bills as I've seen, and they all start to look the same. I don't care what they look like. I just want them all to be there. When I'm counting them, a lot of times I don't even look at them when I'm counting because I'm driving.
Yeah.
Like, which you shouldn't do either in this state anymore because that's distracted driving. But yeah, going back over it, it was clear that like these bills had been involved in a bank robbery, and the bad guys probably got away because they ditched these bills at the casino.
So there's no lesson to be learned from this other than just horrible luck.
Yeah, always be honest with the cops.
Yeah.
That was the other thing is I wouldn't say anything in front of casino security.
Yeah. You didn't want to admit that you were counting cards.
That I was counting cards. So like I had to go to the bathroom really, really bad. And so they finally let me go to the bathroom, and like 4 cops squeezed into the stall with me. And while we're in there, I was like, hey, by the way, guys, I'm counting cards. And I don't tell the casino that I'm doing it. But that's why I have all this money, and I got phone numbers of my managers you can talk to right now.
Yeah.
And they'll like corroborate my story. We're all on the up and up, but I just don't want to tell them about it. So they told them about it. And as they were dropping me off, they were like, yeah, by the way, you're banned from blah, 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 stupid casino for life because of this. And I'm like, you guys.
Thanks, guys. All right, so Loudon, I'll call you Loudon. You've played more hours than me. You've played more hours than like I think pretty much anyone I know. What are some of your more memorable experiences at casinos?
One of my favorite, if you had to boil it down to a particular moment at the tables, one of my favorite moments, I was playing at a tribal casino, and it was finally time to put out max bets.
Which was what?
At this casino, it was $500.
Okay.
So I was excited to put out my max bet. I proceeded to get a hard 17 against the dealer face card. My chances aren't great. But I see that there's been some kind of mistake, and in the shoe, the next card is face up.
Okay.
And it's a 4. And so I double down.
Yeah.
And of course, this is a big joke. Like they're going to stop me, they're going to, arrest me. I don't know what they're going to do. But they're probably not going to allow it. But I double down, looking at the dealer, like, isn't this a funny joke? Let's see if I get away with this. And the dealer's like, doubling down on hard 17. Pit boss just kind of looks at it. And I pull the card out. Don't even need to flip it over. Just slide it right into my hand. 21! So, and I got it. I won it. That was one of the moments where I was proud of, you're always ready to use the information you're getting at any moment. And sometimes there are a few surprises along the way. And if you can work them to your advantage, then do it, I guess. So that one worked to my advantage. That was one of...
I've hit hard 17 against an ace if the count's, I think it's -4 or lower. I've never doubled down a hard 17,
right.
So...
There was one time I was at a casino East Coast, and as a card counter, you're always trying to play kind of under the radar. You don't really want a lot of attention with your big bets and things. I was at a table, it was kind of full, and they were really pressing me to get a player's card, which is something I'm often not interested in. I don't want to give my ID. Unless I'm looking for comps, I don't want to be in their system. This was later in my career. And, they kept offering. And finally, at some point, I'm like, you know what? if I want a free hot dog, I'll ask for a free hot dog. So next to me, there's this guy and his girlfriend. He's been watching me really close. He's kind of got a tie, kind of dressed nice, but with a backwards hat. Real East Coast frat guy.
Yeah.
Probably Harvard educated, but like reads the, horse racing pages at the blackjack table. This kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he has, really beautiful girlfriend with him, and she's just along for the ride. She's not even, I don't think, betting a spot. And he has started taking great attention in me. He's like, oh my God, look at this guy. Look at what he's betting. This guy's got balls. He's turning to his girlfriend. He's like, look at this guy. He's got bigger balls than me. You should be with him. So anyway, I'm like trying to keep it quiet. But at this moment where I'm like, yeah, I don't want a player's card. If I want a hot dog, I'll ask for a free hot dog. He suddenly decides he wants to take up the case and be my defender. And he stands up. He's like, yeah, if he wants a fucking hot dog, he'll fucking ask for a fucking hot dog. I'm just like, thank you, no thank you. And he's arguing my case, and meanwhile, me and the girlfriend are kind of like exchanging glances. Like, she's like, yeah, I'm with him. And I'm like, yeah, I hear him too. Yeah. Just like the exact opposite of what you want is to be called out at what you're doing in the middle of a shoot.
All right, so that is just part of a full series of interviews with David and Dusty. To watch more of those videos, you can go here. And if you want weekly card counting updates, you can subscribe below.